Good morning, friends. Welcome back to Astrology Today. My name is Mel Rose, and I'm here to share your daily aspects. Today is Saturday, April 16, 2022. Sun in Aries, and welcome to the full moon in Libra. We express ourselves by our actions, and we have an inner drive to seek truth and balance in our friendships. Now is a time to celebrate from the intellect. Surround yourself with beauty as you look back on the intentions you set and celebrate what you have achieved so far. I'm just going to put the word beauty in here so we don't forget that part. The full moon is a time of culmination, which is different from completion. Sun sets in the west as moon rises in the east, reflecting as fully as it can the sun's light to brighten our nights of celebration. When the full moon is out, we can truly see in the dark, so this is the appropriate time to recognize and review, getting an inner life perspective on our outer life progress. Sun in Aries is about showing initiative, activity, personal power, the drive to make conquest. Full moon in Libra has a loving, romantic vibe, interested in truth and beauty. In your reflection on the progress you've made, take special note at this time of the agreements, adjustments, and choices you have made that brought more balance into your relationships with the people and things you adore. Celebrate those achievements as well, and the people who worked with you to make them. I'm going to get right into the aspects, but first I will point out the handcrafted key on the right-hand side of the page. Most of the symbols on the page have made it into the key, so if you desire a point of reference, it's right here. I have otherwise divided the page into two columns, one for each of our luminaries. The moon is the luminary that sheds light on our inner lives. This is your relationship with yourself, what it feels like to be in your body, heart, and mind, and in your home. The transits and aspects the moon makes are all very brief, and they have a subtle impact on those things you think, feel, know, and intuit, but may or may not choose to express. The sun is the luminary that sheds light on our outer lives. This is the outward expression of yourself in the world, specifically in your work, social, and civic spaces. I address the sun and the rest of the planet's movements on the side because these have a greater impact and influence on that outward expression. We begin on the moon side today, Central Standard Time, friends, at 8:06 this morning. Moon goes trine to Saturn. Cancer, Capricorn, and Aquarius have ruling signs here. Our inner life here has ideal functioning with our commitments and traditions. Lean on the tried and true, and really with that trine functioning, you cannot go wrong at this time. Then at 4:57 this afternoon, a void of course moon goes square to Pluto, bringing up the potential for challenges with intense emotions or deeply felt intuitions. Cancer and Scorpio will most likely notice this vibe here. The void of course period today lasts a little over 3 hours and represents an opportunity to dive into our creative and intuitive practices, to have important conversations with ourselves about what's going on in our hearts and minds while we are relatively uninfluenced by either of those signs. So this is your intuitive and creative practices time. And then at 7:22 this evening, the moon is going to make ingress to Scorpio, bringing us into a more deeply feeling and intuitive space where we can strategize for our best personal functioning. More Cancer and Scorpio vibes here, asking us all to dive deep on emotion and intuition. And then at 9:55 tonight, Moon makes a trine aspect to Mars. Aries, Cancer, and Scorpio are most felt here. Mars is a ruling planet of Scorpio, so I see this bringing positive, even ideal functioning and initiative to the internal action of the Moon in Scorpio transit. On the sun side of the page today at 1:55 this afternoon, the sun goes in opposition to the moon. Aries, Leo, Cancer, and Libra would be especially involved here. This is the aspect that indicates the culmination of the full moon in Libra. Symbolically, the outer life may find itself at odds with the inner life. The full moon is a time to celebrate culminations, and at this time we also appreciate the polarity of fire versus air and how their interactions can ignite further action or blow out the flame of initiative depending on the circumstances. In the ongoing column, of course, we have here Jupiter conjunct Neptune continuing to be big news through the 29th. Pisces and Sagittarius may especially notice these vibes, but this is some big time vibrations of expansion and creativity, so I'd be surprised if very many people are not feeling it. Jupiter and Neptune here together have opened up a torrential rain of creative energy, fertile opportunities, and inspired flow. What kind of abundance are you creatively calling in? Jupiter here provides a lot of optimism as well, so it's a good time to go for something you think you'd have to be lucky to achieve. Sun sextile Saturn is with us through the 19th. And this is giving us a lot of focus, drive, and positive functioning in our outer lives toward the sense of security and stability that we seek. Aries, Leo, Capricorn, and Aquarius would be the most affected here. I see this like an umbrella. I'll make my little umbrella here of focus and good habits and activity that can help us sort of process this deluge of the Jupiter and Neptune conjunction, and also help us keep our heads above water in terms of attending to our real daily lives, commitments, dedications, disciplines, and responsibilities. Tomorrow, Mercury will make a sextile with Venus and then a conjunction with Uranus, offering up an opportunity to change our minds or our plans, especially with respect to the kind of attention or compensation we like to receive, and that sextile functioning will bring about good results. Coming up on Monday, Venus makes the same kind of cooperative aspect there with Uranus, queuing up the potential for workable change in our relationships to those people and things we attract to us. On Tuesday, the Sun will make ingress to Taurus, bringing our soaring, driven, fiery focus back to the ground and home base, there to thrive and grow and create. Next Saturday, we'll see a third quarter moon in Aquarius, and this will be the moon phase where we actively release the things that can no longer aid us in reaching our goals. And of course, I have down here this Pluto retrograde coming in on the 29th. I know that's way ahead. It's just also a reminder that all of these planets currently are in forward motion from our perspective. We don't have anything in retrograde right now, so if it feels like everything's flowing very well, if you're seeing things unfold quite easily, it might have something to do with the fact that all of the planets are direct at this time. Pluto will be the next to go retrograde, and Pluto goes retrograde for like 6 months out of every year, so it's a more subtle effect, something we're very used to, but just a heads up on that. Okay, that's it for today's astrology. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please like my video, subscribe, and click the notifications bell. I post here every day, and I wouldn't want you to miss a thing. And friends, I appreciate it so much that you comment to ask questions or provide encouragement. It isn't just gratifying for me to know that you're listening, but it lets YouTube know that you're engaged in the content, and I see you all helping me out in that way. And I just want to say I really appreciate that. Thank you a lot. Also, if you know anyone for whom this might resonate, I encourage you to share. Sharing is caring. Now I'm going to take a couple of minutes to talk about tarot as it relates to astrology today. First, I will discuss the tarot card that sits on the side of the page. Then I will do a quick rundown of today's astrology before throwing a random card that hopefully speaks to today's energy. So let's go ahead and get into that. I'm going to take a quick sip. Okay, the tarot card that sits on the side of the page right now is the Four of Wands, and the Four of Wands represents the final 10 days of the Sun's 30-day transit through Aries. So here we are sort of at the end of the very beginning. So, we've gathered our resources and we pushed our vision into a plan, into something that was in action and happening, and we watched it, grow and unfold, and we saw our goals come into sight. And so having done that, we've had some success and some progress. Four of Wands isn't like a culmination in itself, but it is a moment to stop and celebrate how far you have come. Celebrate those people that helped you get there, and the community that supports you in general. It's a good time to have a homecoming. If you can't get home, at least be in touch with the people at home. Allow the people that support you to be supportive, to recognize you for what you've achieved, and of course take the time to recognize your family members and your friends and loved ones for the things that they have achieved at this time. At this time, we celebrate harmony, joy, and good relationships. It represents a time of peace after a period of hard work. So, it's your breather. It's kind of your lunch break, right? And again, especially families and communities come into this. This is a time for groups to celebrate. And that's a very Aries vibe. Celebrating before it's all over. Like, oh, I've done so much. I've made a lot of progress. I'm going to take a break and go tell everybody about everything that I'm doing. So, yeah, I can definitely feel that. We are just at the end of the very beginning. So, next we're going to get onto Taurus. Taurus is still a springtime sign, and we'll be getting more into like the growth and the creativity that comes from not just having great ideas and a lot of passion and fire and spirit, but also having like the material resources, at our disposal to create and really grow something strong. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and mix up these cards while I remind myself and the cards that the sun is in Aries, and so is the planet, the asteroid Chiron. Chiron might be getting an upgrade from asteroid to a small planet or something pretty soon. It floats around out there between Saturn and Uranus. It's not part of the asteroid belt. It's really kind of on its own elliptical orbit around the sun out there between Saturn and Uranus. So Saturn is about tradition and what's tried and true, and Uranus brings about shakeups and says, no, let's do things differently. So Chiron is there to sort of heal, heal the part of ourself that relies on tradition and just things being reliable and stable, and the part of us that needs change, because there's sort of a duality or a dichotomy there. Like, yes, we want things to stay the same when they're good, but everything has to change, and it definitely will. So, we have to be able to sort of reconcile that. And that's what Chiron is about. Chiron is called the wounded healer, and famously taught archery to a number of famous Greek heroes like Achilles and Hercules. Anyway, Sun in Aries is a time of spirit, of fire, of new life, of the color spring green. Everything is just budding out, all of those flowers. It's a time when the days are growing longer now than the nights. We have a lot more sunlight in our lives. If you're anything like me, I have a lot of thunderstorms and rain in my life right now, but in between that, I have a lot of sunlight, and the days are really warming up, and it's really beautiful out there. So it's inspiring, and it inspires one to get active and, to want to make fresh starts. It's a really good time to rededicate to yourself, to your own well-being and maintenance as well. Full moon in Libra, very romantic vibrations, my friends. Reflect on truth and beauty. Reflect on the balances that you have achieved and the people that helped you achieve them, and really give your appreciation there. Sun opposition moon is the same thing as a full moon in Libra, but symbolically we say that that our inner and outer lives may be at polar opposites. They may be in a conflicted mode, but really sometimes when it's us in conflict with ourselves, it's just an opportunity to take a look at ourselves, almost as though we were looking in the mirror, to reflect on ourselves, who we are and how we're being and what we can be, do, and have, right? Jupiter conjunct Neptune says that we can be, do, and have more creativity, more fertility, more optimism, more growth and expansion, more compassion, more colorful dreams. Okay, so it's really just this reign of possible creative potential, possible potential. How do you like that? Sun sextile Saturn, however, is helping us keep our heads dry a little bit, helping us keep our heads in the game, and as far as those responsibilities that we have to maintain, to our structures and networks that we rely on for support. And then on the moon side, we begin and end with some really positive vibrations. Those trine vibrations are ideal functioning. You might see synchronicity or coincidence. In the morning, that has to do with doing what is traditional or tried and true, doing what you know will work. And in the evening, it's really more about being positive, forward, and action-oriented. In the middle, we've got some, this square with Pluto, and then some time to do our intuitive and creative practices before we get into the moon in Scorpio, which is a much more deeply felt and intuitive space for a couple of days than in Libra, which is more about rational balance and the beauty of things. Okay, so with all of that said, I'm going to go ahead and, guys, it's the Page of Pentacles again. We have seeds to plant, okay? That's what this tells me. Listen, we have a great deal of expanded, amplified. This conjunct energy here is an amplification of Jupiter's expansion energies. Jupiter just gives and gives. It's almost like a maternal figure. It will give until it hurts, but it never hurts. Too much is never enough for Jupiter. Jupiter can even overgive in certain circumstances, and that might be the case here. So there's a lot of expansion available, and it's conjunct with Neptune. So that's expansion of our creative potential. That's expansion of the creative flow in our lives. These two are in Pisces together. What is the sign for Pisces? These two are in Pisces together, and they co-rule Pisces, so they're really right at home. They're very well functioning at this time. Neptune is about your connection to spirit, connection to humanity, where you stand in the flow of the human spirit, how you feel connected, and how you express that connection, through your creativity, through your intuitiveness, through your desire to create more, right? Create more, create more, create more. That's what that says. So understand that you have this beautiful sort of packet of seeds and you can, put them in fertile soil, and this rain is really going to help them grow into big, strong, colorful plants, vegetation, the things that you wish to grow in your life. It doesn't have to be plants or vegetation. It can be your career or your relationships to your family, or a new business idea, whatever it is that you're trying to grow in your life. Give it a fertile place to sit right now, and let this stuff do the work, because definitely you'll be getting the rain to help feed and nurture, and the sunlight to help feed and nurture your best ideas. Sun sextile Saturn too. That pentacle looks to me like a sun. It looks like kind of a sunny day there. Saturn has a very earthen vibe. It's very Capricorn, and Saturn is about your responsibilities. It's about, you know, using your resources, and knowing how to how do I say, knowing how best to use your resources so that you can get the support and validation that you need, so that you can get the things that you need, the stuff that you need to live. You've got to know exactly what to do with that package of seeds that has been given you, or that you have probably earned in this case. So let's be careful about our resources. It's a very fertile time and it's a very creative time, but let's also just like put our best ideas in the ground and allow them a moment to spring forth, see what comes from them, right? But also like maintain maintain your best practices, okay, while you dream and create, so that you can also have resources left after you have, you know, put something in the ground to see how it grows. And put together with the Four of Wands, I see, you know, a person sort of having gone to a celebration, and now, you know, like, it's good to pause and celebrate. It's good to pause and appreciate your friends and family and your community. It's good to take that breath, that breather. This time will come to an end, and it will still be important for you to be a good steward of your resources. Okay, I think that's all I have to say about that. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate the heck out of y'all. My name is Mel Rose, and I'll see you all back here tomorrow for more Astrology Today.